Yeah. Hello.
Should set off.
It's me to set off, isn't it? Yeah. Can you hear us? Am I holding that close enough? Because I always cock up the mic. Little caveat, I swear. A lot. I'll try not to, same as Andy before us, but I will fail. Dan doesn't swear as much, and definitely not in front of customers or anything like that. We're here with our little talk, how I learned to love my superpower. Why neurodiversity should be embraced in cybersecurity. Kind of fits it.
Spacebar should do it.
Spacebar.
Hey. So, we're going to put an agenda up, just to keep it on track. We'll deviate. We'll go into that. But as you see us look into the distance and have that naked glaze, this is what's happening in our heads. But we're going to go through who we are, why you should even bother listening to us, what is neurodiversity, because I don't want to assume everybody knows it, and give some situations that we've experienced, some examples of how we've thrived, what struggles we've had, and then also go into advice for everybody from allies, people with neurodiversity, to employers, if any employers come. But if not, take it with you and throw it on the desk. But yeah, as we go on, I'm Dan Walters. I'm a security consultant at Advanced Security. I started, we'll go into my background in a minute actually, but I went to University of Plymouth. Much nicer to say that here than at Bristol last time when I got booed. A bit of a rivalry there. It's a bit safer up here. And my background's incident management, incident response, SOC background, that sort of thing. I have a lot of experience in banking, financial industries is my main background, is where I specialise. And up to you.
Yeah. I'm Ben. Pyro, Brick, the odd guy from the north, many other things that are not able to be written down, I'm known as, but hey, currently working with Dharma. I've worked for multiple MSPs, MSSPs, all that kind of junk. I like to jump around. I'm security engineering specialist at the moment, means I get to manage people and get to be awesome with Sentinel, which is cool. A bit of a techno womble. Yeah, the guy that's wandering around your local industrial estate with a wheelbarrow picking up random bits. Founder of stuff, InfoSec BattleBots and B-Sides Newcastle. Come to B-Sides Me Newcastle, it's really good. Other than that, experience, Sentinel, engineering leadership. I like being a parachute engineer. I love function apps. And I'm the one you throw at a tire fire. And also I'm the one that changed the text size of everything, so it looks slightly odd, but sorry, we didn't realise how big it is, so apologies, because it will annoy the hell out of you, because it annoys the hell out of me. Hey! Oh, is it me? Oh, it's a me still. So what did I do? I started support, help desk, ended up being in the training department, realised that I really like working with people, really like doing that. Moved to help desk for a mid-sized MSP, leadership, wasn't ready. Ended up being a consultant, which was fun. Larger MSP, started as a junior consultant, ended up being a parachute engineer, the one you throw at problems. Back in the days of Exchange 2007, if your Exchange box was down and banjoed, I'd be the one sitting under in the cupboard under the stairs fixing it for you. Yay.
Show your age. 2007.
We can go back to 2003 if you want. Yeah, I am not a specialist in Exchange 2003, honest. No. But yeah, after that, become an engineer, ended up landing a really good position at ISP, was a lead security engineer for a while, joined QC, worked and built the engineering team at QC. That's how I know a few of you in the audience here. And yeah, ended up left there, head of engineering for a small startup. Now I'm over at Adama, where I'm a Sentinel specialist, building up Sentinel capabilities, work on large-scale deployments, migrations, management at scale, and other stuff like that. Depending on the day, I either hate or love ASIN. Yeah, that's about it. That is me. That's kind of why you should listen to me.
So I come from a different background. He comes from engineering, I come from response. So I started as a SOC analyst at Adama. As working multi-tenancy SOC, working from everything from aviation to banks to anything and everything in between. Quickly became a senior SOC analyst, working my way through. At this point, I became dedicated to a financial client, and this is where I built this client from bottom up from day one. And from there, became the lead analyst. So I became in charge of all incident response, all management, all cases, all budgets, everything there. Now I'm saying security consulting, I no longer stick with one client. I get thrown about like a rag doll, depending who needs me and where they want to make the sale. So my job now is similar to what Ben used to do. It's we've got a problem, what's the solution? How can we go from here to there? And what's the roadmap to get there? And how can we do it for the least money, less battle resistance as well? But yeah, that's where I go for, man. So, what is neurodiversity? You've heard from us about what we do, so let's go away from us now for a little bit. Ben, I'll bring it back to him. What is neurodiversity? So neurodiversity was a term that was coined in the 1990s, and it is a very broad spectrum of things. You have everything in there from dyslexia, ADHD, autism, dyspraxia. You also have things in there like Tourette's, but it is such a wide spectrum, and this graph here on the right really tries to emulate that, really. You'll see it's a Venn diagram here, look. The Venn diagram tries to give you that crossover where things match. You might have no crossover, you might have some crossover, you might not sit in any of these, but you just want to learn about it, and that's a real good strength in here. But try and think about it when you leave here today, and see if you have anything, or you think you might, see where you might be able to put that pin on the screen, and see if anything lines up. But yeah, it's such a broad spectrum. We'll go into it in a moment, but some things might work for some people, some things might not work for others. This graph here was created by Mary Colley, does a really good blog. Recommend going and reading it, but yeah, we keep going on, and then we can make sure why is this important. So, the general population of the United Kingdom has about 15% of the population neurodiverse. National Cybersecurity Centre has got 21% people believe they are neurodiverse. Of course, because not everybody has a medical documentation, because they're quite hard to get. So, I mean, we just don't want it down, haven't we? So we've just asked everybody in our company, where do you think you sit? Do you think you have anything? Do you think anything aligns? So soon when we do this, that closed, is it 29th today?
Yeah.
It's the first day. Closed yesterday. So when I do this next time, I'll have another number about where we are at Dharma as well. It's about how it aligns. What we're trying to get at here is, in cybersecurity, we have a larger percentage. This is just where people believe. Remember, there's still that stigma that we're trying to break here, that people won't say anything because they believe that there'll be some prejudice, something that will go against them. So even at this, you've got to take it with a pinch of salt, it could be higher.
Cool.
So, again, back to me. I'm dyslexic, possibly ADHD, waiting on that one, wait a while. But I have some really big strengths. My strengths come from planning, logistics, being able to get everything in a line, and building their relationships with people, being able to convey information. What you'll see here, and what we try to aim here, is me and Ben have massive crossovers, but look at us. We're very different people. I go in front of people, he hides behind the screen. But that's what we're trying to get at here, is there is no one cut sheet. Everything is designed to be one for me, one for Ben. It won't always have lineups, but we both are very good at being able to jump between situations. But communication, finding patterns, and taking data and turning it into an image is one of my big strengths. So you?
Yeah. I mean, as Dan said, we're the same and different, which is really good. We kind of realised it more as we wrote the talk. But yeah, I'm dyslexic, dyspraxic, ADHD, and there's other things in there, but we're not going to get into that. There's a lot of the typical comorbidities of that kind of stuff, which you'll probably guess, But anyway, what are my strengths? Critical thinking, lateral thinking, creative thinking. I'm able to adopt different thinking styles, and it was quite good to learn the difference between the different styles, when to apply them. It's really useful when you kind of really work out what type of thinking fits what process. If I'm troubleshooting a shotgun thinker, I'll think about as many things as possible, try and rule out as quick as possible. If I've got a specific path, then I'll go exactly down that. It's just about the different thinking. Hyperfocus, one for me. Last week, I had a bit of a hyperfocus last week and pushed out a ridiculous amount of work. But hey, I come in ebbs and flows. I utilise them. When I've got hyperfocus, I'll say to the guys, right, throw all the bugs at me. Throw everything that's annoying and crappy for you, throw it at me, because I will love it. I will chew through it. It's prescriptive. I know what I'm doing. Resilience. This is something I've built really in the last couple of years. Really had to kind of build on and work with. It comes from bouncing back so much. You end up building it up, and it is quite an important one. Energetic. I always like to be hyper. I like to be the wired person in the room. I like to be in my meetings and all of that. I like to be the guy that's always happy, and it comes with its benefits. If I'm smiling and grinning at you in a conference call, it's hard not to smile back. Unless your world's on fire, at which point I've had those ones. And high EQ, people know emotional cool. You have to learn how to live with that one a little bit. But yeah, definitely a strength if you can learn that one. Cool. Right. Nexty slide. So, big one for this. This is, the kind of caveat slide. These are mine and Dan's experiences. These are things that we've had, we've helped, things that we've seen help, and it's kind of specific to us. If you find yourself not kind of covered in this, don't say, "Oh, I'm not neurodivergent, I'm not this." No. There's. As hopefully you'll find in the talk and with mine and Dan's ranting, there is no you are the normal, you are that. It's not. Yeah. But yeah, these are generalised. Our ones, if they don't apply to you, then yeah. But hopefully some do and might help. Oh, it's me opening this one. Yeah, so on to a few things that we can kind of help. We've broken this down into a few categories. First thing we'll cover is planning. So a big one for me is plan the work the plan. If I sit down and plan a job out and work it out and get everything done, then I will sit there and tie to that plan and I'll work to it. I've had to force myself into doing that. Sometimes it really helps when I'm stuck in one of my quite tangenty moods to put that plan in, to have that structure and just go, no, I'm doing that. Knowing the right time to use it as well. A lot of these are knowing the right time to use them. 7 P's of planning. Anyone that's military, ex-military will know prior planning prevents piss poor performance, or the several other versions of that. Plan for the eventualities. Have a think about it. If you're anything like me and Dan, you've probably dwelled on it and worked out every single thing that's going to go wrong. But yeah, plan things well, and if you can do it right, you get tasks into an order. I'm not going to steal one of Dan's points, though. And yeah, a big one for me, I need to document as I roll. If you didn't document it, you didn't do it, I do not get the chance to catch up. I do not get the chance to go and do that. I will always bounce off doing the target. I'll find something else that's more important than doing documentation. If I really have to, I'll find anything rather than documentation. But if you document as you go, you do a little bit here, a little bit there, it means that when you drop out of it, when you run off to something, when you have to throw it at someone else and tangent off to something else, it's there. That's kind of a big one for me. Anyway, see you and Dan.
So, big one for me is flowcharts. So, some people actually in this room have seen some of my flowcharts and seen how complex they can get. But my flowcharts try to account for most things and try to give a visual emulation of what we're going to go through. And one of the hardest things that I know a lot of people struggle with me is because I can go from A to B really quickly, and the process that I'm getting there is really clear to me, but not always clear to everybody else. If I can put that process out, it means that I know everything's going to run smoothly. It means that as a project manager, as that runs, I know that if you're at stage A, I know we're all on the same page. We can plan it, we can draw a line where we hit the issue, where is that bottleneck, where's the pain point. And procedures, building them out. I'm from a background of SOC analyst, so building playbooks, building your processes, building your instant playbooks is something that comes really quickly. And being able to take a little bit from here, a little bit from there, a little bit from there, know what doesn't work, what does work. I mean, I always say the opinion that all engineers should be analysts for a month, and just because then you realise how if you give them bad stuff, you're going to get bad results. And so that's what I believe, heart and soul. So being able to build them procedures and being able to build it in a way which can just give you a good result, gives you the right result, gives you an efficient result without giving that fatigue, it comes through and through. Mind about. Yeah. Tasking. And one of my big things I do is give out a lot of tasks, but I also have to break down my tasks. So avoid attachment. I recently left a big client I've been on for multiple years, and avoiding that attachment is a really hard thing. Cutting that cord, being able to walk away and go, oh, well, that's not my problem in a way, and that's somebody else's. So it's been having to that avoiding attachment, but also it comes down to being able to cut off, being able to stop that building at the end of the day, working till 5 a.m, 6 a.m. I mean, me and Ben are both going to stand here today and tell you shouldn't work late, and we'll both go home and do it. Because I'm here today, it's the same reason I was late. But it's avoiding that attachment of being able to break down what you need to achieve and achieve it. If you can't achieve it, how can you reprioritize it? Can you offload it? Can you get that support? So that goes into the Microsoft Planner. That's how it works for me. I know Ben's a big DevOps, and I know we're going to get onto another one called Monday.com shortly, but there's a lot of different ones out there for project planning and procedures. Mine one's Microsoft Planner, comes into Microsoft Projects at some point. But being able to break it down, being able to take tasks, we're getting into the third one here as well, and being able to take a bigger task and break it down and be able to link it all together to achieve it. I mean, for me, if I've got one task to achieve in a week, it's going to feel like a very uphill battle. If I can break it down to 60 items and get a little dopamine kick every time I click a button that something's done, then we're all good, we're all dandy, and everybody's going to say what you achieved today, and I can rattle that list off. if I've only got one thing to do and I didn't achieve it, it's going to look really bad. But for me, I know that I can achieve lots of little tasks before lunch and then build like an easy stream after lunch. Yeah. What's you?
Yeah. Building on Dan's points there, I break my tasks down to small things, but I have to due date all of the things. I have to. Otherwise, if something doesn't have a due date, don't get work done. If something's going to come in and it's 6 months' time, I need to do it, I'll due date it 6 months' time. I don't have things without due dates, because if I don't, then they don't matter to me. Or it'll be whatever is 10 minutes before the due time that I forgot to put on, I'll rush through and do it, which just doesn't work. So due date all the things. It helps with breaking down the tasks, because then you can set your waterfall between them and you know what things have dependencies. It's really nice. And the last one, commit then complete. I should put a caveat on that. If you can't tell someone, I take on an awful lot of responsibility because it's the kind of person, yes. But sometimes it's to my detriment. If I've tried to be really forceful for myself to, if I commit to something, I know I can complete it. If I can't complete it, I let whatever stakeholder, whatever team member, whatever person know. Because, I bounce around like something rotten. If I've tangented on something and forget to tell someone, then someone else's day's ruined because of that. So commit then complete and let people know what's happening with stuff. My team's quite good. Well, my team's really good with me. They know how random I am. They know where to best use me. They know when to best use me. Everyone hammers me for has that been updated? Has that been updated? It's something that's super important, and I to this day still get people to just nag me about it in a nice way, a very nice way.
I'm one of them people.
There's a list. It's long. Right. So on adapting. Is it me for this one? Yeah, it's me to open this one. Yeah, cool. So adapting. Kind of says it on the thing. Improvise, adapt, overcome. It's one of the things that I like doing. I like adapting quickly. It gives me that adrenaline rush. Throw me into a fire. Throw me into everything's gone to utter hell. Not technically swearing. Everything's gone to that. Throw me in. I love this side of stuff. But how do you adapt well? How do you do it? Important one for me. It's okay not to know. It's okay not to be that expert. There's something in my brain that tells me I need to know every single thing. Work over yourself. Realise that it's not really, I don't need to know everything. I've got Dan to ask a consultancy question about. I've got other people to ask other things about. Maybe naming random people. I've got other people to ask other things about. It's okay not to know. But remember to build back, grab that info, and don't just throw something out. Keep your ownership of it. Quick flow data consumption. I really want to reword this to shotgun thinking because it fits better. Those that have worked with me, especially during projects or during times when things have gone to utter hell, know this. The ability to essentially just throw your mind at something and work out where the path is, work out what's wrong. All right, I can think about there's an issue with Sentinel. Is it related to what the ingest is? Is it related to that? Is it all right, no, cut that off. I need this. All right, think about this. It's very much... I say to everyone at work, because I stand there on the call, flailing my arms around, I need one of those minority report style boards. I'd be that person going, oh, do this, no, don't need that. It's crazy, but the adapt inside the quick data consumption is just one of the strengths. It's a strength a lot of neurodivergent people tend to have, and it's something that's really, really useful, especially if you capitalise on it. No doubt.
Thank you very much. So, first of all, I'm going to try slow deviation. So, this is one of the ones that if you can capitalise on and you can frame it right, you can go far and wide. It won't come to everybody. Some people will come to naturally. Some people will find it at a later date when all the boxes get ticked and becomes a very clear road. This is one where I know me and Ben share it, but we share it in a bit of a different way, actually. So, flow deviation is being able to say, well, this is the plan to get from A to B, but this has gone wrong, this has gone wrong, this has gone wrong. And now we're all the way over here, as in, something's gone seriously wrong. So just being able to account for it and be able to steer that project back. Something that I do a lot with project management, and it is one of the things you need to plan for. Me personally, I do worst case scenario planning. Every possible thing that could go wrong is planned for. It's like why I can stand here today, I know I can step away for 3 hours or 4 hours probably, and I know that nothing's going to go wrong with my project. I know my team's going to run smoothly because everything is planned. If this happens, we're going to do this. If this happens, then we're going to do this. If this happens, then when something's gone seriously wrong, we need to regroup. And it has these things. It doesn't necessarily need to have, this will be the outcome if we take this step. It could be, right, we need to regroup, reassess. Can be the outcomes. Then on the other hand, likes to do a bit of, we can go here, we can go there, we can look left, we can look here. And that jumping about, I'm more methodical because I normally do present it to stakeholders, and me being able to show it on a nice, pretty graph makes everybody happy, it makes everybody calm, it makes everybody smile. And you get to sit here, you get to talk to your techie guys, so it fits better. Yeah. But having that ability to be able to not be able to deviate from that standard path is something that comes in university. Being able to think outside the box, and you'll say something, someone will go, "How the hell did you get there?" And that thought of go, well, "It's clear, there, it's here." But yeah, worst case planning fits in quite nicely. So worst case planning is the way that I do everything. Is plan for the worst, hope for the best is what I was brought up with, and that has served me pretty well. My dad used to say, Dan has plan A and plan B, and if plan B doesn't work, we'll make plan B work. So that's how it's gone all my life. So it is that always being able to adapt, because nothing will always go smoothly. And being able to adapt to that change is something that once you can utilise and you can aim it as a hiring product, as something you can put on a CV and you can prove it, it's going to go far.
It's fun too. Really fun.
People will look at you like you're mad though when you just pull out this wild spreadsheet. So some communication points. So agenda. Agenda is something that we put on the start of this because it's actually need to go on. And it's something that isn't just a thing that you can utilise, but it's something that we also recommend for non-neurodivergent people to be able to share with everybody. A meeting can be, you can put an hour meeting in my calendar, but if I can get that done in 15 minutes, I'll be ending that call after 15 minutes. More time I can get to get things sorted, the quicker I can get off at the end of the day. So if you can give me an agenda and I can get everything prepared, I can say, oh, well, you're going to ask me about Sentinel. I'm going to bring Ben. I don't know anything about Sentinel. It's not my job to know Sentinel. I'm going to bring someone with me. Rather than me having to go, well, we need another meeting then. Or we need another meeting after this because I don't have that information here. If I can bring everything together, but also being able to budget time. I don't want us to ramble about Sentinel for 45 minutes if you have one question, you've got 30 other questions. We need to be able to plan that, be able to work around it, and being able to account for every minute is not something you need in an agenda. We don't need to be breaking it down to that we have a 3-minute coffee break. No, give me the key points, let me know what you want to achieve in this call, and we'll work together to achieve it. That's my sales pitch. I switched that bit off. Analogies. So I'm drawing today, which is quite a weird thing for me. Last time we did this, I ended up talking about cats, but analogies is something that Tom in the audience will be able to say. I use a lot of them, and it can be anything and everything. If something sits in my head and I can't explain it, I can't use the words to. It's working in my head, but it's not coming out. So I'll use some strange analogy. Or we need to put the cake in the oven, or we need to do something and the words just aren't working. Analogy is perfect. Okay, there's better ones than others. And my dad has one of them, put the dog on the table, which is like a very businessy term of let's get to business. It makes no sense unless you know it. But you need to have a bit of a visual symbolisation to it. And it can be quite good at getting everybody to have that visual understanding of where you are, what's happening, and what's going to happen next if there is a process in place. I'll let them do yours.
Yeah. I don't know, I mean, one of my big things that I had to kind of learn was clarity, how to bring clarity to my communication. Those of you that have been in calls with me, those of you that know me will know that I rant a lot. So I like to always say, all right, so yeah, I'll time my tangents. I've got a little timer that I sit there all the time. As soon as I start tangenting, I hit the timer on it. I've got a minute. If I don't finish my tangent in a minute, then I cut myself off and I go, all right, well, we'll talk about this afterwards. Trying to keep yourself on point, trying to do things like that to keep yourself on point helps other people in that meeting with the clarity. Some people may be happy to sit there and talk about steam engines, as I did in a call a couple of days ago with some of the senior engineers and that. Some people are happy to do that. Some people aren't. But keep your time on it. Remember that other people's time is valuable, so your clarity is very important. If it's a high priority one, cut all the tangents out. Sheer clarity. Big agenda. That's the rare times I do agendas, apart from if I'm sending a meeting request over to Dan, where I'll reject it if I don't have an agenda. But the main time I do agendas is when I need that clarity. And tying into that is a summarise. Talks with me. People have told me they've had to lie down after a conversation with me, and again, totally believe it, totally understand it. I get the feedback often. But yeah, summarise at the end for those people that you've lost, for those people that lost track. All right, at the end, wrap up. So regardless of it being a Teams call, a phone call, a text message string, whatever. All right, what are you going to do? What am I going to do? This is what we've agreed. get those points in at the end. So even if someone's drifted off halfway through, like I do, I might have seen a bug pop up and my mind's off fixing that bug. I'm sitting in the meeting, but my mind's off fixing that bug. Have that 5 minutes at the end where you just bring that clarity to it. You bring that, you summarise. Yeah, sweet. That's that one. Right. Time for another little caveat. I think I'm doing all of these for some reason.
No,
okay.
last one.
Oh, you did last one. All right, cool. Again, I know we're drumming this point. We will say it again. These are my and Dan's experiences. These are things that we use, things that we've been through, the tools that we use, that kind of stuff. Do not, if you don't find yourself including this, do not say, "Oh, it's not me." Then it is generalised, and yeah. That should cover it, yeah. Sweet. So, sorry, just want to do that one.
We won't have questions, you need to get this one rolling.
Alright, cool. Yeah, alright. Oh no, we're 26 minutes, that's not bad. We started a bit late. But yeah, cool.
You need 26 minutes roll, I've got 31.
I was 26 from the timer on top of the slide, so...
I'm talking clock time.
Yeah, whatever. plenty of time. So yeah, my advice, I took this advice from neurodiverse people as, what would I say to myself as a younger one? And the biggest thing in my life was don't mask. For those of you that don't know what masking is, it's when you pretend to be like everyone else. When you hide away far too many pieces of yourself to make yourself fit in, and that can have massive tolls on your mental health. It wasn't until I started at a place called NTE that I really learned to embrace myself, be myself. Then I know Dom is on the slide, but hey, I'm gonna name shout QC as well, because they really helped me develop myself and realise how I could be myself. But yeah, it's important. Don't mask yourself. That hiding away will cause a massive pressure on you. We'll get onto it in the next slide about spoons. But yeah, I've masks, instant no spoon scenario for me. But yeah, it's my biggest one. If I could say to myself, and tie in with that, know yourself, be yourself. I've spent innumerable hours digging into when I first got diagnoses and stuff like that, I was suspected and all that stuff. Spent time digging into it to understand, what does ADHD give me? What does dyslexia give me? What does dyspraxia give me? How can I turn that into a plus? How can I make a benefit out of that? They're the two things I kind of really say to myself if I was talking to myself. And that's my advice to anyone neurodiverse who thinks you might be neurodiverse, that kind of stuff. Just be yourself. It's a hell of a tool not to be. Anyway. But make it brighter for us, Dan.
I'll bring a smile. So we want to talk about on capitalising on your strengths. So part of being yourself is being able to not just say, well, I know I have this issue, I'm going to struggle to read this 50-page document in 2 hours. Like, it's not just that. It's also being able to say, yeah, I can't necessarily read it in 2 hours, but if you want me to read your report and create some graphics for it, being able to change that in a way, being able to change the dynamic rather than just, I'm going to struggle with this or I'm going to have a difficulty with that. Obviously, talk about then, think about how you can encourage that, how can you help promote that. But what can you do that you can bring to that will give you the benefit? What can you bring to the table that the person who can read that in 2 hours might struggle with? And we're going to go on to it in a minute with a document that will talk about how to call out what are the strengths of different neurodiversities and all these sort of things. But we really wanted to touch on capitalising on those strengths, call them out and say, I can do that. Oh yeah, I can do that. Don't take on too much. But otherwise you end up being the person that everybody always goes to about every spreadsheet, you end up becoming the Excel genius. And then embrace your differences. It is all about, quote at the end, they'll pay reference to it as well. That's it, already got quote up. Embrace the differences. It's all about working together to achieve this common goal. If I'm calling on Ben, me and Ben are in very different teams, we work on very different projects. But if I call on Ben and Ben can help me succeed in my project, we both succeed in a way. So if Ben needs me to create something and Ben needs to read my project, again, we can work together. So what is an ally? An ally is not necessarily someone who just can send out an agenda. It isn't just someone who can summarise a note for you or can read a report and give you the brief on it. It isn't that. It's someone who can be, not like leaned on, but can be leveraged in a way that I can help you, you can help me. It's a two-way street at the end of the day. And it is that if I can't always help you, how can we work together to be able to get that outcome? How can I help you in the long term? Can I help you in the future? I know one of the things that, because we did a similar talk to this in our work, and one of the big things was, what can we use to help? I mean, one of my pet peeves is when I'm writing a document on Teams and I'm sharing my screen because you spelled that wrong. I'm fully aware I spelled it wrong. The red sticky lines told me I spelled it wrong. just wait till I get to the end of the sentence, because if you cut me off halfway through that sentence, I'm going to forget the rest of that sentence. Let me finish my sentence, I'll go back, I'll fix it, I'll get that sorted, don't you worry about that. If I'm going to send it to a client, then correct it. It's knowing the balance, it's knowing about where you're going to let the person use their knowledge, and don't also step in, let them have that enrichment and that courage. And what does allyship look like? Touched on that lightly, but it looks in many different forms. There's no right or no wrong, and at the end of the day, if you can go and find out someone's struggling, ask them how they're struggling, ask them why they're struggling, what can you do to assist them? Is there anything where you can assist them in terms of briefing or something? It could be as simple as sending out your emails in a different font colour to that person. Like, it can be so easy, but it's all about being able to work together, and it's never that one-way street of just take. Always feel like you can give that person something back. My strengths, being able to emulate this or being able to help them there, always be able to get that back, because then it always feels like it's a support network, not a support person.
Yeah. Just to touch on that allyship one, it is about just someone that's there someone that'll just listen. That's it, really. What does allyship look like? You listen. You're open to things. You're open to suggestions. All right, no, this is what we do it this way. This way may not fit me. May not fit other people. May be different. Changing things around. Anyway, I'm going to tangent on this one. So my two, a kind of big one that I think does neurotypical exist. Is there a normal? No. Is there this classification of people are 100% normal? No, they're all fucking different. Ah, damn it! You had to swear. Right, because they're all different. You're neurotypical. Hate using the N word, but yeah, hate using the normal word. But, neurotypical. You're just in the middle of the bell curve. Everyone's a section of different bell curves. You're just in the middle of it. I personally don't really like the idea of neurotypical. Don't really like the idea of normal, because it just doesn't exist in my head. I can't get my head around how anyone can even understand it, but hey, feel free to argue with me about that later. The other one, is mine blue, your blue? How do I know that your eyes interpret the colour blue in the same way that mine do? If I hooked your eyes up to my brain, would blue be the same? I don't fucking know. I can't see inside your head. You can't see inside my head. That's the thing. If you're open, if you're talking, if you're trying to be that ally, you're trying to essentially, I think emphasize is the wrong word, but yeah, you're trying to get on the level and get a bit of an understanding. My blue isn't your blue. I don't know. Might be. Fuck knows. Damn it! 3. All right. Well, but there isn't a bet on this, honest. But yeah. Damn it, don't count. Yeah. All right, cool. But yeah, that's my main one. We all think differently. I don't think there's a single person that is normal, because there is no normal. There is no middle of the ground. There is no everyone is normal, is 100% this. Just doesn't happen. Getting on to that, little bit of methodologies. I did mean to add a bit more to this slide, but tangented, forgot, was bug hunting. Sorry, I had lots of bugs to squash and things. But yeah, so methodology spoons. I'd encourage people to take a look at the QR code, or if you don't trust QR codes, just Google spoons methodology. Essentially, and I'm not going to tangent on this here, but yeah, it gives you that ability to discuss mental fatigue with your colleagues, with your employers, that kind of stuff. It takes the stigma out of saying it, because I mean, how do I phrase? So neurodivergent people, such as me, such as Dan, such as other people, the day-to-day things like that may cause no stress to someone that isn't quite as neurodivergent sometimes cause a lot of stress. Client meetings cost me a lot. If I have 3 or 4 client meetings, yes, I'll be bouncing, yes, I'll be happy, yes, I'll be all of that. After I get out of those meetings, I'm brain dead. I can't cope with it. So the spoons methodology gives me a way of saying to my manager, look, I'm out of spoons today. Can I just catch up stuff tomorrow? I need to bail on the day. I can't take any more. Can I just do a basic task? Can I go off and do some bulk hunting? Thing I like to do when I'm out of spoons. Gives me fun. It gives me more spoons. And equally with spoons, there's some tasks which are net positive for spoons. My stand-ups on the morning, they give me the power to run through the rest of the day. I'm bouncing off the walls. I see everyone that I work with. We have a good chat. We plan our day. We do all of that. Gets me bouncing. That's a spoons positive one for me. So yeah, it's a good methodology, a good way of doing it. I'm not going to tangent on equally because I could do half an hour on it if I really wanted. But yeah, it's something to look into. Yeah. See your dad.
Thank you very much. So this is one where I want to go in lots of detail, but I want to also give you time for questions at the end. So we're going to go through it, and I'm going to touch on a couple of key points here. So tools are coming up more and more. There's more and more of them readily available. I had some of them at university. I had some just at Adama, and some of them come and go. And these are some of the key ones that I've used in my time. These are some ones that I found useful. There's lots that I haven't found useful. That's why they're on the slide. So things like planning, Monday.com. It's like, it doesn't look like Monday.com, but yeah, it's 2 lines and a dash, all that Morse code. But Monday.com is really good. It's like a Microsoft Planner, but on steroids in a way. Like, it really helps add these extra functionalities. It's more colourful. It's more manipulation. You can manipulate it in lots of different ways, and you can create some really nice diagrams. Some of these do come with costs, unfortunately, but employers, universities sometimes have contracts. I mean, like when I was at uni, I got Dragon free, and that's £560 a year. So like, you do get different ones. I went to university in England. I'm not sure if you still have disabled students allowance in Scotland. Yeah, that pays for that. So Grammarly is one that we have at Adama. It's one that I drove very heavily with, and it's widely used now across people who do have dyslexia, but also people who don't, or anything else that it could help with. FocusMate's a bit of a different one in cyber than other things if you were to work in other areas, because we work with some confidential information, that sort of thing, but it's all about teamwork. It's all about pitching with someone from, like, I might be pitching someone from accounting. We both have an hour-long task, so we both sit on a call with an hour. We don't really need to talk. It's just about encouraging each other. Oh, have you seen this? Or it's about having that breakout every 15 minutes and be able to, little sprints, that hour sprint, trying to encourage someone to drive that through. So that is, I think, that one you can get for free now. Unmind's another one that I never had, but it's a mental health app. I know we talk about all these things about how to write better, how to learn, how to manage your time, but at the end of the day, if you run out of spoons, you're going to have mental fatigue loss. I mean, able to regain that. So you don't want to burn yourself out to the point where at the end of the day all you do is go to bed, wake up in the morning, but not worth it. So Unmind is meditation. It lets you track your mental abilities in terms of, it asks you 10 questions at the end of the day, it gives you a ranking. Rankings are a bit wishy-washy sometimes, but it gives you a thing, I'm having a really good day, let's go out and do something, I'm having a bit of a bad day, let's treat yourself. But the key point here is none of this. The key point is these 2 lines. How should employers do it? How can they do it? How can they make it usable? It isn't a case of, I need Grammarly, right? That's 14 weeks until we can add that to your AD. Well, what's the point? I've got a document to students tomorrow, and I need that confidence, I need that extra bit. Make it readily available. Making it a case of, oh yeah, we have this tool set, give us the nod, I'll send an email to IT, and we'll get that added to your system immediately. That quick window, having it readily available, making sure everybody's aware of what it is. What is the criteria? Can I get that? Because there might be some criteria for them, but also encouraging people to be open about this during the onboarding process. I mean, during the onboarding process, you always want to look best. You don't know what's going to be public to everybody. I mean, like, it could be a case of this is going to go into a database, everyone's going to look at it, which is never the case with things like neurodiversity or anything like this. It's all something that you keep between yourself, your manager, who can support you. But being able to collect that information, be able to give that direction, that drive, straight away, from the start, means you can have a seamless and encouraging situation to start with. Yeah. Oops. 3 papers. I know I've just said we don't all really like reading, but so one further side. This one here is really good for most people. It's really interesting read if you're looking for something to have a bit of a dive into. It looks at how we can work together to enhance each other's knowledges with different knowledge sets and these sort of things. One in the middle. Take it away, give it to your employer, make sure yourself look really good. What I'll also say is, one of my favourite things about it is it calls out all these different things. I think it's the 8 powerful truths, yeah. One of them being, if you have a neurodiverse employee scope, you will increase your innovation by 20% and lower the risk by 30% on average. So it gives these really interesting scopes that everybody wants to lower risk and increase innovation. It's increasing budget. And then this one here is for anybody who's looking for a job at any time in the next 30 years. Ever, really, you can take it away and run with it. But what you're going to do is it goes through lots of different neurodivergent options, really, and it calls out the strengths, how you can frame it. So if you have dyslexia, you might not be talking about, I can write you an essay in a day, but I can change this, I can do this, and it frames everything in a word of a strength. It says, what can you change this to, and change that stigma, that viewpoint, that dynamic, and frame it in a really nice way, which will make someone go, oh, well, that fits that criteria, that fits that role. Of course, pick and choose, don't copy and paste, but make it fit the role. And that will really help. This is what I did. That's what I know about. It's from University College, and they update it every couple of years as well.
Yeah, just if you're a leader or any kind of leadership in cyber, read this one. It's very good. It's really good. And also, if you need a CV, that one, very good. But yeah, this one is probably my biggest recommendation. Go read it. It really helps you understand from a kind of a leadership side how to work better with both yourself in neurodivergent and with other people, how to best utilise. I feel a bit bad saying utilise because it sounds like a bit of a using word, but it shows you how better utilise your skills, utilise the gifts you have, really. And that one says how to bring them out, the one at the end. So, yeah.
And also how to get paid for it.
Exactly.
So, closing thoughts. So we're going to round off in a minute, so we'll have time for questions, as long as we stay on track. But, again, these are man and Ben's experiences. These are things that have helped us. Please do not go away and assume that everybody who you stand next to at any point who says they're dyslexic or dyspraxic or anything will align with this. I know some dyslexic people who hate flowcharts. They just look at them and they go, no. But because some people are more tactile, some people are more videos and them sort of things. So please don't take it away as this is a one cover of all. Oh, my turn to do the quote. Diversity, the art of thinking independently together. We had an argument if there should be a comma in here yesterday.
Yeah. I don't do grammar.
I think we should be going after independently, but we're not going to get into it. But key thing I wanted to touch on here was, like I said earlier, it's all about coming together. Being able to take my strengths, your weaknesses, your strengths, my weaknesses, come together, let's create that one outcome and let's achieve it. And if one of us succeeds, we all succeed. And it's also the case if one of us fails, we all fail. But we're not going to go into that one today. But yeah, making sure we're all thriving together and supporting and being able to work together with not-neurodivergent and non-neurodivergent people. Right, of course, we're from Adama. Adama is here today. I believe we're downstairs.
Yeah, we're downstairs.
I only got in the building from the top floor, so I won't be downstairs.
Getting me sweating, appearing 5 minutes before this.
Parking is not easy in Dundee, apparently. But yeah, please scan. This was into recruitment. When I started at Dharma I didn't apply for a SOC analyst. There was no jobs available. I graduated during COVID lockdown. I was working as a throat swabber during the COVID pandemic, but we were all in lockdown, we weren't allowed to drive. And I literally just sent an email to Dharma and said, if there's any availability, can you let me know? And they did that process of, they sent me courses, they got me trained on different things, just in the meantime until jobs came available, bish bash bosh, I'm here now. But yeah, really good intro process. So even if it is just a case of registering interest, because I think we've got software. There's a software
eng one. There's quite a few.
There's a couple of them. There's more yesterday than there were the day before, so there are quite a few going up. So if you are interested, please do give it a check. We're also going to go downstairs after this. I'll be here for about an hour afterwards.
I'm about till about 5ish, so if anyone wants to come talk to us, feel free, come down and talk. If you don't want to ask a question now, come ask us.
But right, sympathy cast on. But yeah, our recruitment team's downstairs. They're also here for any other questions. I think we'll also have some merch.
Yeah, I didn't tee for t-shirt because I forgot mine, honest.
I just don't.
Wouldn't go. Ooh, got a press go.
But yeah, also, if you do have any questions at a later date, feel free to get in contact with us. Ben's Twitter is up on here. As he announced the other day to me, he's deleted Twitter from his phone, so...
May or may not get a good thing on that, and I refuse to call it the other name of it.
It's still Twitter. But yeah, give us a message, give us an email, do whatever you need. Last time we did this talk, there was actually a lot of lecturers that reached out to us, so if there's a lecturer that has a question of how they can support you or anything like that, please send them our way. And if there is anything like that where you'd like to talk about it any further, or if there's any tools that you'd like to recommend, then drop us an email. We are busy people, but we'll always make time, just be aware it might be 2 to 3 working days.
3 months.
I'm better than him. I've got deadlines.
I'll still reply though, but yeah.
But yeah, please feel free. Please feel free. But yeah, I think this is where we're going to take questions, isn't it?
Yeah. So if anyone has any questions, I know we're not allowed to throw the really cool ball around anymore. Are we allowed to throw the ball at people? Has anyone got any questions in? Do we give them the mic? Or is it... I have to stand very close to Dan.
Hello?
I have a question about neurodiversity. So you are like quite open with it. So when you go to work with the Dharma, have you been open with it from the start, or did you wait until you get recruited and then realize oh, this is not going to work? Like if I pretend to be neurotypical, and then I need to reveal it then. And also my second question is: have you faced any discrimination, or have you faced any rejection, or have you had any people look down on you because of neurodivergence? Because I know now people are getting more and more open, especially in the UK, but for some people it's still not, they don't feel comfortable disclosing because they are afraid others may be judging them, or they'll be like, oh, this person is not normal, because they don't understand it, and they'll be like, oh, this person is, I don't want to say the word crazy, which is rude word, but they may think that because there are people who are understanding by nature, and there are people who they just put you in a box and they judge you, and that's you're this for them, and that's how they're going to change. So I'm curious about your experience.
Well, I'm a little bit older than that. I've got a good 10 years on it. Easy. A couple of years ago, I'm guessing the mic's still alright, just with it being a matter.
I don't know if that one's switched.
I had an echo from
Yeah.
No, it's on.
Is it on?
No, try not to use it. No, it's not alright. Good to see the mic on.
Try and get my steps in.
Sorry about that.
Sorry.
Yes, have had places. Yeah, as I mentioned in the talk, I worked many years masking, just kind of trying to be the same as everyone else. There was some stigma there, I'm not going to lie, but thankfully the last couple of years got a lot better. As for the recruitment side, with the Dharma, I was open from the start. From the first talk with the recruitment person, I mentioned it, and I said, oh yeah, I've got dyslexia, dyspraxia, ADHD. These are how they're of a benefit to me. This is how this makes me a better engineer. I mentioned them from the start because, people may see them as a detriment, may see them as something bad, but if you mention them, then capitalise on them. How can that UCL one that was up before, really good for that? How can I then kind of capitalise on it? How can I say about it? But getting back to the crux of it, how... Thankfully, the last 5 years or so, the world is a lot nicer place than 15, 20 years ago. But it's definitely better. All right, who else had a question? Do you want to?
No, we'll do one.
Do another.
So I was wondering, how would you broach the subject of asking about the personal adjustments you can make to potentially neurodivergent coworker? In a kind way.
Do you want to get this one?
Yeah. So I think first of all, it does come down to the neurodivergent person to start with. So you need to know, you need to take some time, and only you can do it. Figure out what helps you. No one can tell you what helps you. It takes time, and it is the most annoying thing. I wish it was a one cut of the cloth that everybody fit in, but it is knowing what helps you. Because if someone gives me a document to read, it's going to go in one ear and out the other. So I'm not going to tell that doesn't help me. But being able to figure out what does help you is the only thing that you can do. It takes time, it takes practice, and looking at what can be out there. So being approached, we'll look at it from both ways. If you can approach someone else and if they approach you. And so if you want to approach someone else for that support and ask, how can I be supported in this way? It's always best to start off with your manager and potentially if you're friendly with someone in HR, them sort of things. And be like, look, I'm having real struggle with this. This thing here would help me. I know it sounds bad, but some employers are very much, they have what they have. They don't know anything else. So if you can go to them, do a bit of sales almost, and like for whatever it is, this tool would help me. This would help me. If we could have this one-to-one, instead of doing it once a month, we have it once a week. Can we have this? Give them a solution to the problem. You might not know what that problem is. You might not know what the solution is. But if you can go to them with the problem, they might be able to do a solution as well. But being able to tell them what helps you, and that's how Grammarly started for me. I need something better than Microsoft Word. It just doesn't work for me because that word is a real word, so it says it's right.
What's wrong?
Yeah, that's what we were arguing about yesterday. But then there's also a case of if you want to go to someone, if someone comes to you and says, "How can I support you?" It's doing it in a way of it's not the one encouragement. It's a trying to not be like, "Well, I just don't want to do this." because unfortunately we all have things in our work we don't want to do. And some people, it's things like timesheets. But it's being able to take it and go, I'm really struggling with this. I'm really wanting to be able to build this bit out. I'm really wanting to thrive here. Is there a course? Is there something that I can do to help you? Is there anything we can send you with? Or is there almost like a tool? It's like tools will always be the best thing. They're reliant, they're repeatable, they're consistent, and they cost money. But try and get somebody else, like an employer or a university, to cover that. But in terms of lecturers, that's where I started. My lecturers were really good at university. My university put me through all the funding for it as well. Is that sort of perfect? Right, you can stairs.
Yeah, so I'm a bit to the end of that first. Be honest and be blunt. That's what I am. Honest and blunt. It's the easiest way. Not hiding anything from anyone, not doing that. This will help me. Write a business case for yourself. This will help me because I am X much better at this with this. Time and motion studies, something I didn't mention in that book prior to IT, did engineering, did degrees and that kind of stuff. Time and motion studies is a big thing for me. But cool. Right, question. You had a question?
Sorry,
Yes.
I'm glad to
No,
show.
one second.
Your advice is great, and the other thing to remind people is employers, academics, everyone has legal responsibility to make reasonable adjustments. So it's not them doing you a favour, it's them doing what they need to do. So your advice is great and spot on, approach it the right way, do it with them. But it's not like you have to ask them to do something special. They need to do this anyway.
No, just for the makeup of the video, that means, yeah, there are regs, there are things like that that essentially tell companies they have to do these kind of things, they have to make suitable adjustments. There are limitations, there are caveats, there are stuff like that, but yeah, a lot of the time, don't be afraid. Let's do this first time. You are protected. There are a lot of things, a lot of people that can protect you should help if you do something good. If you have to, that doesn't
Sure. How do you balance things like executive dysfunction, command avoidance, inactivity, all those kind of negative side effects of ADHD and divergency with deadlines?
I should have just stood there and grabbed the mic. Again, as I said, be honest. I have my up days, I have my down days. If I am having a day where I am not able to, I do a lot of my work with VS Code. I will have days where I will stare at that screen and it will not work. I'll stare at that screen and I will try and solve a bug, I will try and solve something, and it just will not work. I come back another day, that day, different mental state, yeah, it's fine. What I am is honest when that happens. I'll say to my line manager, I'll say to the rest of the team, all right, I'm having a no-coding day. Is there any documentation I can do? Is there anything, another task I can pick up? Is there something boring and repetitive I like when I'm having one of those ones? Can I go and do a load of fixes, or can I go and review a load of mergers, or can I go and do something that's inane, boring, and I'd normally hate to do? But for some reason on those down days, giving myself a task that's simple, completable, and doable gives me that bit of the push to, all right, yeah, we can get through it, really. It's utilising those days. Gets back to the what we were saying about knowing yourself. Know when you're on a down day, be honest with it. Call them down days is bad, but they're kind of like different days. Know when you're having one. Spoons help. Spoons methodology helps. If I go to my manager in the morning and I go, look, dude, like 2 or 3 spoons in the drawer today, he'll know straight away. I won't have to say, I am feeling mentally exhausted. I am feeling that. Sometimes just stating that, I'm getting tingles down my spine saying that. I don't like saying it. Sometimes just saying that can be a mental exhaustion. So using spoons, using other methodologies, and just going, yeah, right, this is a 3 spoons in the drawer day. Give me boring, annoying tasks to do. I'll sit there and I'll chow through them and just do that. It's how I survive it, Dan. Do you have anything like that?
Yeah, the other thing I'd add to it, just because I don't want to run over because everybody else wants to get to lunch, but it is that adding on how long do you know this task takes you? Everybody will say, well, to find that bug, well, that'll take you 6 minutes, that'll take you 6 hours. Is knowing how much more time you need, how much more time I need to add, and having that openness with it and going, okay, well, I don't want to set a deadline of 4 hours, I'm now going to have to run myself ragged, burn myself out, I'm actually not going to find it, so I'm more stressing about not finding it. the end of the talk. There you go. I was cracking it. But yeah, it is that being able to not stress yourself out about a deadline, because I know if I've got a deadline, I'm going to become less and less productive the closer I get to that deadline.
Yeah.
Because I'm stressing more about if I don't complete and take that into account. Yeah. I know this is the end. So we are going to go downstairs, just so I don't want to keep it any longer. But I'll be downstairs, Ben will be downstairs. Please come talk to us, come always come bug us, come ask us anything else you need. But we will be there.
I have one last quick question. So, just to ask, to what extent your employer is understanding of you? For example, if you need to take a day off or something, are they quite understanding? Or have they ever been like, oh, you're too much of a problem?
All honesty, yeah, I'm always really honest. I'm always, no, I can't do that. My probation got extended because I was off a little bit more with a previous employer, not this one. But yeah, it happens. It's times like this when you look at it and you go, all right, yeah, I was off for 3 weeks, for 2 weeks, for a couple of 1 week blocks, for that kind of stuff. I've had to do that. All right, yeah, it happens. That's me. They've extended the thing. Let's just be grown up about it. Let's be professional about it. Yeah, all right, I can't. This has been delayed by that's been delayed. All right, yeah, let's just work through it, understand it, and be professional about it. Talking to people, being open, being honest gets back to the same kind of thing. Be open, be honest, tell people what you were able to do that day.
Yeah.
I think I tangented off the topic slightly there.
What I would add to it to make it a bit more concise, I'm not used to having a microphone, you can tell a shout. But what I would add to make it a little bit more concise is that there will always be people, no matter where you work, who will always say, well, you've got to start. I mean, I remember having it at school. I remember I got told that I was cheating because I had someone to help me write my essay, so I had a scribe. Because my hand-to-brain connectivity was not right, I got told I was cheating. And I got bullied for that. And there'll always be them people who will have that view. But at the end of the day, but like was mentioned earlier, it will always be protected. You are protected no matter what. Whether you want to be open, whether you want to be closed about it, you do have that protection. You can always go back to it. And occupational health, great place to go. If ever in doubt and an employer isn't helping, say, can we send this to occupational health? And they'll write a nice little report which will sign, seal, deliver that. And that has to be followed. But it's the openness, it's the saying, this would help me, this is what can help me. If I'm now behind on a project because of it, well, can I do this, can I do that, can I have this extra support, can we have extra resources? And we have a thing which you can have a day off if you're having a really bad, I can't remember what we call it, we changed the name of it. But it's them sort of things that I'm more prone to burnout because of it, because I throw myself so much more and invest so much time into it because of that. So you have to have the openness, because otherwise people are going to keep piling things on you, and they know, right, that's the limit, that's enough, leave it there, see what happens. Yeah, I think time.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Thanks very much for listening. Don't forget to have a quick